Hello again and welcome to the Corsets-UK channel. This week we're going to be tackling lacing up a corset on yourself, which is no easy feat the first few times that you do it, so hopefully we'll give you a bit of help and it'll be a bit less painful. Emotionally painful, I mean, not literally painful. It shouldn't ever be literally painful. Not in these days, not in this day and age anyway. Okay, so the model corset, the example corset that I'm going to be using is a Corsets-UK authentic steel-boned, long-lined corset in blue satin. It's got a modesty panel which all the waist training and steel bone corsets from Corsets-UK do. Hang on, I'll just flip it to one side. There we go. So as you can see in there, when you do the corset up very, very tightly, the probability is that you're going to get a fold in there where the skin of your back is kind of being squished in, and what this does is it covers it up. Ta-da! They are a little bit tricky to get done up so that they're nice and smooth at the back. It's actually easier if you've got a friend, but that's another video. Right, so before you attempt to do up a corset around the front, give yourself lots and lots and lots of room in the back. So undo it, pull it out nice and far. That's pretty much as loose as it will go. And you will notice as well, this is really important, that the laces meet in the middle and not at the top or at the bottom. It's actually a really bad thing for the corsets to be done up at the bottom because it means that the tension of the corset is really uneven. So if it ties up at the bottom, you'll end up with it super tight at the bottom, and then it'll kind of get baggy and loose at the top, and then vice versa if you tie it up at the top. But all our corsets come pre-laced, so you shouldn't have any problem with that. We will do another video so that if you want to replace any of the laces with something else, it's like a ribbon or a nice colour or whatever, we'll show you how to thread it. And by we, I mean I'll show you how to thread it. I'll work out how to do it and then I'll do a video to help you. Easy ways to tell which way is up and which way is down, apart from the tags, which go at the bottom, which is sometimes a bit difficult to see. Most corsets come with suspender loops, which are these little black things here, and obviously they're going to go down by your hips. So you can just find the side, the end rather, that have those on, and know that that's the bottom. Right, so in order to get this corset on with the modesty panel facing the right way and not sort of all scrunched up behind, I'm going to grab the other side of my corset, hopefully you can see, and I'm going to kind of swoop it across my back like that, so that hopefully, yeah, it's kind of up and facing the right way and not scrunched up. Okay, so as you can see, I've got loads of room to play with here. I'm not going to be struggling to get in at all. Now generally the easiest place to do a corset up from is the middle. And this is going on a lot more easily than I imagine yours will, because I've worn this a fair few times. Believe me, a new corset, they will be very, very stiff. Like here you can see sort of some kind of stretching already. But these, particularly the clasps, are really, really stiff, and sometimes they haven't sort of been pulled out quite as far as these ones have now. So the first few times you try and get into your corset will probably be, you know, you have a bit of a battle with the clasps, but persevere, it won't last. Now that it's on, I can find these lacy bits here, okay? Now this is really good, they're in a loop, so I can hook them around with my thumbs and give them a pull, and this is just to kind of like pull the laces through initially. I'm not going to do this all in one go. It's quite good to have a little wiggle, kind of find yourself, let the corset kind of move around and pull in where it needs to. Now all these laces are really long, so this is fantastic because now it means that I can do stuff with one hand and hold this side here, hold both of the laces with my other hand, and I've got a hand free. Pull out to the side, grab at the front. I've now got my hand free. I don't know why I'm using my left hand, but you see now I can reach the laces, I can pull across this modesty panel. Still got a little bit further to go, but at least I can sort of keep going back and get it sort of nice and straight, or as straight as possible. Okay, so what you now want to do is you want to work from both ends towards the middle, because this is where you're going to tie it up, and it's obviously, you can feel it's very loose at the top here. So go maybe for like, feel with your fingers and maybe go for like the second or third kind of rung, if you like, if you think of it like a ladder, and then pull down and down until you get to a point where you can tighten up the laces in your other hand. And I'm going to do the same for the bottom. Sort of maybe start on like the second or third rung is better for now, just to get the laces reasonably tight. And now they're getting really quite long at the front here, as you can see. And again, practice really is a factor here. Like, I'm doing this quite slowly because I want everyone to be able to see clearly what I'm doing. But you will get quicker and you will get better if you practice doing this. What's also helpful sometimes is if you've got a wardrobe with mirrors on the inside of the doors and you angle the mirrors so that you can see your back at all times. Although sometimes you have to do things in mirror image, which can make things even more tricky, so don't stress out too much. It's probably actually better if you kind of visualise in your brain while looking at a blank page what it is that you're doing with your hands, and you'll probably find that you can concentrate better then with no kind of distractions. Okay. So now, as you can see, it's starting to get a little bit tighter. Now the places that it's pulling apart at the top is still quite far bent out from my hips down here at the bottom. I need to give that modesty panel another little tug because it's got a little bit runched, which is normal. Or I'll poke it through with my fingers. So now I'm really going to give it a proper tighten here at the bottom. Have a little wiggle. And that's already feeling much tighter along my hips. There's no sort of sticky outy kind of gappage. So for now, I think that will do. It's not sticking out at the top or anywhere. That's tight against my skin. Although you don't have to wear it with the top underneath. I just thought that it would make the likelihood of me having a wardrobe malfunction on the internet a little bit less likely. So that's why I did that. I know it doesn't look great. So tying up time. If you've pulled it super tight, like, they hold themselves by this time, they're not going to carry on slipping. So I recommend doing a big old bow. And if you've done up an apron on yourself, then I'm sure that this will be no mean feat. Pull the laces through right to the end till they're all the same length. And then for good measure, another little knot, and you can finish off with the laces as short or long as you please, but I do recommend a double bow because if you go out, people will think that it's hilarious to undo, and the thing is, with the corsets as tight as they are, you won't notice straight away, and you'll just have a slowly slinking down corset, just getting floppier and floppier, and you'll be, oh, I can breathe and sit so much more comfortably, I must have gotten used to it. And then someone points out that, you know, you're exposing yourself. I may or may not be speaking from experience. Double knots was the end of that story, and what we all learned from that today. This is a very important side note. When you're removing a corset, if you don't want to damage it, it's really important that you start in the reverse from when you finish, so you undo the laces first and then do the clasps. And I absolutely know what a temptation it can be after a very long night out of walking around in your corset. It's been hours in it, and you get home and you've had a couple of glasses of wine and you just want to go get it off, because it's a lovely feeling, don't get me wrong, but you'll stretch out the corset. It's not good for it, basically, to for you to be doing that. It's really, really important. If you want to preserve the life of your corset, is to start undoing with the laces. When it's nice and loose, so it's not going to be a struggle, then is the time to undo.